Hi everyone, welcome back to Window Chats with Robyn, the Instagram Live podcast where I sit by my window and chat with very interesting people. Today's guest is Tanu Ravi, and I'm hoping it works this time. Okay, putting up okay, here we go. Sure, that's a new, the lives? I have never seen that option before. Hi!
Hi.
Is it working now?
I think so.
Cool. They updated
Hi.
the Instagram Live. It was there's new options to choose from. It was very nice. I liked it.
Oh, I've never done one of these, so I'm a rookie.
You're doing great.
Thanks. Well, this is great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Nice to finally meet you face to face.
I know. Well, okay. I did see you in person. I just didn't know if I was allowed to go up to you in person because in my head I'm thinking, oh no, Tanu just watched like a really bad audition I did. I don't want to
No.
talk. I'm gonna hide in the corner.
No. No, don't think that. You should always come and say hi because I'm like more shy in person. So like I wait for people to come to me first. Otherwise I'm like a pretty all or nothing person. So I'm either like yelling at you across the room or I'm standing in the corner just like hoping you'll come over and say hi.
Do you know how you're gonna have a lineup of people now coming up to say hi to you? That's what's gonna happen.
Oh, I'm definitely not that popular,
Oh, no.
I promise you.
Mike, okay, the connection is fuzzy-ish,
Oh.
but I'm okay with it now. Also, Sally says hi. Oh no, so dramatic, these lives. Is it working on my end? Is it working on your end? Oh, what's a girl to do? Is it still rolling? Are we still on? Is this, are we gonna do take 3? I don't know. Am I talking to myself? Classic Robyn. I gotta figure out my hair. I don't know if I'm, oh, Tanu, no! Oh God! Oh God! Tanu. So this is fun. For those of you who have never witnessed an Instagram Live tech fail, I'm a master at them. I'm gonna try and invite Tanu back in, and if it doesn't work, there might be a take 3. So get excited. Let's try again. Okay. Accept. What?
Am I
You're being
back?
a troublemaker. You're being like a real. It was like so well. This new season, I'm loving Instagram, and then this. I'm done.
You know, this is so on brand for me, and you should have known this before inviting me on the show.
How would I know this? No. You should
No,
have
no.
a disclaimer. You should say, Robyn, things will fail technically wise.
I like the element of surprise, to be honest. So, yeah. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Okay, it works now. Everyone who is watching those tech fails, that was fun. I think that was fun. I think that was like an icebreaker, you know?
You can use this as like a what not to do video for your future guests.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, happy to help.
I did a deep dive because that's what I do on my show. I love your humor. It makes me smile.
Cool.
There were I was watching random TikToks you made and I thought, that's so funny. I think more people, I didn't want to like it because then you would know when I watched it and it seemed a little creepy the hours of which I watch it. So, you know, like why is Robyn creeping me at 3 a.m.? Even though I'm telling you, it just seems like a creepy time to like something. So
I mean, I will say like I am more of a viewer on TikTok than a creator.
Okay.
I think I recently made 2 videos from when I went away, but before that I hadn't made videos for a long time, so they're probably outdated.
I mean, I love looking at my old stuff and going, oh, remember when you thought that was good? That was
No. I'm sure they're good.
Oh, you're so positive. I love this.
I'm positive for other people. This will be a recurring thing. And for myself, I'm like, you suck.
Oh my God, this was like my morning. I woke up and I'm like, what's my hair doing?
Oh, so
I
I'm
spilled coffee on my shirt. I was going to do a whole professional blouse look. I'm like, it's a t-shirt today.
I'm not
So
gonna lie, my bottom half is still my pajamas. And
I'm
they're
wearing
and
casual pants.
they're Harry Potter themed as well.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, I have no shame.
Do you know there's a Harry Potter store in New York? I learned this in the summer. There's
No, I didn't.
It is a Harry Potter store in New York. You can like have a broom experience. You can get your wand. It's somewhere on Fifth
A
Avenue.
broom experience?
Yeah, they have this
What
whole
the hell?
ride. I know. I was only there for a couple days, but I thought if I was here longer, I might ride a broom.
I mean, now I need to go to New York.
You've been influenced. It happened.
Yeah. Do you want to go? Should we book
Yes,
this?
I would love to
Okay,
travel with you. I
cool.
think we would have fun.
I think so. I mean,
Well,
listen.
I mean, you seem easygoing, and I'm not, so that's gonna work.
I'm glad you said the word seem. I don't know. I'm really weird when traveling. I'm like one of those that makes like an overly extensive list of things to pack,
Oh my God.
and then I review the list like 17 times, and then I call people and say, "What have I forgotten?" And then I get on the plane and go, "That's what I forgot," you know.
Just
Yeah,
like that, we became best friends.
yeah.
Everyone
There
knows
you go.
that. Oh my God, I love lists.
Two anxious people together, nothing could go wrong.
On a plane during COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
good combo. Good combo.
At
Like
least at least there's a broom ride at the end of it. So
that makes it worth it, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
agree.
I won't use the broom to clean. I'll just ride on it. I was
Yeah.
inspired by Hocus Pocus though. This was before. But
Ooh.
like they made it look cool. I wanted to ride a
Okay.
vacuum as a child. It didn't fly. It was upsetting.
I'm so sorry. That must have been
Yeah.
traumatizing.
You know what? Thank you for the safe space to discuss it though.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll send the public.
How was Vegas?
Vegas was epic. Okay.
What
I
happens
mean,
stays in Vegas. I know the rules.
I mean, I kind of get why they say that now, and it's not for the reasons that you would think. Vegas is like this weird. It's stunning, right? When you first drive out of the airport, it's like desert and mountains, and you're like, wow. And then once you get to like the hub, it feels like you're in this weird simulation of like kind of Truman Show-esque situation. Like because there's just so many casinos and stuff, it just feels weird that it's just plopped in the middle of a desert. And then obviously once you're in a casino or in a hotel, like there's no windows on purpose, so you don't know what time of day it is. And like it's quite like I kept saying to my friends, like it feels like Vegas just has this like permanently thin layer of depression over it. You just like when I first walked into my hotel, I looked around and it was like dim, and people had looked like they had been sitting there for like weeks, and like they were crusty and like sipping on the same like vodka, rum, or whatever. And it was just so surreal. I felt like I was in the Truman Show. So it was interesting. But the like I went to When We Were Young festival, and that was absolutely epic. So yeah.
Did you go just for the festival?
That was my main reason for going.
Okay.
And it just happened to like coincide with Halloween, which was great because Vegas really do it up for Halloween. Yeah, it was cool. It was like a cool festival. And like, I mean, for me, like I was like a full-on emo growing up. So I definitely like relived my youth, and teenage Tanu was in her element. And it was like my friends and I, like we cried and like we laughed and we joked, and like it was very emotional. It just was.
I think it was. I don't know if the alcohol had any part of it, but does
Funny
alcohol?
enough, we didn't drink much because each drink was like $20.
Oh shit.
And yeah, it just didn't seem worth it for like a 13-hour festival. Because I feel like you just never get drunk. It's like I have a drink and then I'm like, oh, I need another one, you know. Didn't seem worth it, but
That's a financially smart decision, though. I agree with that.
yes. You say that. I also lost money in the casino. I when you can't beat them, join them.
You can't what?
When you can't beat them, join them.
Oh yeah, no, you have to. You have to. I say that. I only gambled $1 because I hate gambling because I don't like losing. So that's a whole other discussion of I don't like.
I mean, that's a good
Acting swing break.
reason.
Okay.
That's a good reason. But I mean, I watched this man lose like 1,600 in about 15 minutes. And then he got mad at the dealer thinking that she was like rigging it. And it was like, oh, this is why what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas,
Yeah.
because no one would want to go.
Oh, it's true. It's true. Hang on a sec. I don't know which window is blinding me. I've
Okay.
decided it's this one.
You have a really nice view.
Oh, thank you. I don't want it to be too descriptive so no one can figure out where I live, but you can be like,
Okay.
oh, she's downtown. There's a
It,
tree.
it, it kind of looks like New Yorkish, you know, it doesn't seem like Toronto.
There's certain parts where I go, oh my gosh, am I in New York?
That's
Cool.
so nice.
Thank you. We moved, oh my gosh, almost a year ago. So it was lovely.
Nice.
Yes, downtown living.
Yeah,
Do you live downtown? Don't tell me your address. Don't give me specifics. Oh, you do?
I
Why
do.
have we never met up? What's happening? We're going to
Because
discuss it.
we hadn't said hello in person,
Oh,
remember?
okay. Baby steps.
Yeah,
Hello. Okay. That's true. That's true. That's
exactly.
the friendship. That's how it builds. You say hi. Although nowadays friendships are formed so interestingly, and at least that's what I find. I have
I
weird
mean,
stories.
now they have Bumble BFF.
I, okay. So I went to a comedy show yesterday, or whenever. I don't know time, but my friend met a friend on Bumble. There's an app for that.
I've heard stories. I've had more success stories with Bumble BFF than I have with Bumble dating.
I think that's so interesting. Like, how do you have a friend profile? Like, this is who I want my friend to be. I don't know how this works.
Do you know what? I did set it up during the lockdown because I was like, I need a friend. That sounds really sad. Oh God.
I get that
But
though. I get
it's
that. I
like,
said that was an initial reaction, but I get it.
you know, it wasn't like you could, you know, normally like you go to like comedy bar or you go to like shows or you meet people and whatever. And it was just like, and I lived with roommates, by the way. I wasn't that alone. But I was just like,
What are your
I just like,
roommates going to think? They weren't your friends. You didn't want to be friends with them. You have to meet new people. You guys suck. Okay.
you heard it here first. This is Window Chats exclusive. Sorry, Nixon Isabel, love you. No, it was more so just like being stuck in the house all the time, and at the time I wasn't working or anything. It was like very depressing,
Yeah.
and I was like, God, I just want to like meet new people. And so I set it up, and I met up with one girl who I'm still friends with. Um, but other than that, there was quite a few weirdos on there too. Not gonna lie. And like there was like people who just wanted to like emotionally unload and stuff, and I was like, listen, I'm here. Like, I'm a caring person,
Yeah.
but like I can't. I don't know you.
But I find it's so easy to open up to strangers because
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
right. It's such an unbiased view. This is the only view
Mm.
they have is the view that you're providing them with.
It's true, and there's like no stakes attached because you don't know them, right? I mean, that's what therapy is. That's literally what therapy is.
But free therapy because no one's making money during the pandemic. So
Free therapy for them, not free
yeah, and then
therapy.
you leave the phone call and you go, I'm
I
so
need to call
tired.
my
I need to have a
$150 an
moment.
hour therapist. Yeah.
But I mean, you know what? Like, I understand that need for connection though, because I don't know about you, but when we're re-entering the world now, my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do, how to talk. I had the weirdest, when I go up to people, I just kind of word vomit on them. When people ask me now, what do you do or describe yourself? And I go, oh God. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Panic.
I don't know. And then I blurt out everything on my mind and they go, cool. Count?
Honestly, I think it's kind of rude that people even ask you that after a pandemic. It's just rude.
Thank you. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I can lead with that either. How dare you, sir?
Yeah.
I am triggered. Okay.
The audacity.
You're
Yeah,
canceled.
no, it's really weird. It is like I'm still kind of adjusting to coming out of the pandemic, to be honest. Like I'm definitely just like a whole new person. And not necessarily in all the best ways even, but it's just understandable. I mean, I'm way more of a homebody now. I became way more introverted in a weird way. Um, Yeah, I don't know. How did you feel it changed you? Like,
Well, no, because I'm thinking, you know what? I didn't realize that I could be an introvert. I did not. When you go on Instagram and you're like, oh, look at all these things that could apply to me, these little, you could be this. I go, oh, what box am I? But I find out when I go out and, you know, it's lovely seeing people again or meeting new people. And then I need like a couple days to decompress. You know, I just need my
yeah,
space to myself, which is hard because I'm married. But go away. This is my corner. But it's hard because it's like I'm not used to all these people and all these conversations, and I love talking to people, don't get me wrong, but I'm just like I'm so tired.
I know. It's like the like battery is so much like less now.
Yeah,
I feel that too. Feel that too. Like I honestly have to like plan like, oh, if I have this social event, I need the day off after to do nothing, just to balance it out because otherwise it's like, I mean, for example, Tiff
oh,
was like, go, 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 go. But then like I think the first day after Tiff, I must have slept for like 14 hours because I was just physically and mentally and socially exhausted and I didn't want to see another human being. And that's like no offense to anyone I met or like anyone I saw or anything, but it was just like it just felt so stretched, you know, in the best way, obviously and for good reason, but like it was a learning lesson. Yeah.
it's well because I want to do everything, so I'm not really. I never knew what people said when, oh, are you doing TIFF? Like I don't know. I
Mm.
just walk down King Street and see what's happening, but there were so many events that I don't know. I'd like go to one event and they go come to my party and I go, will I die here? No. Okay, cool.
Yes.
You know, I don't know.
I
Is
know.
this a
And
party
the
of one?
FOMO is real as well. Like, you really don't want to miss out, especially after a pandemic. You're like, oh, I just want to make the most of it. Now we're back, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Oh, Aaron's sister, one of their fave casting assistants and actresses. Oh,
Oh, Aaron. Usually he spends his time insulting me, so that's like the nicest thing he's ever said.
well, I want to say, Aaron, who are the other favorites? No, don't read
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, don't out them. I'm your favorite.
Yeah, there's only. Oh, that's well. Now, how are the other casting assistants supposed to feel?
They should feel like shit because I was the best one.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Just
I think.
kidding.
Can I tell you? I would love, and these are things that I think of that will never be implemented. But I would love if, because you were casting assistant for Jesse, right? Jesse Griffiths,
Mhm.
shout out. You're awesome. You were a guest. Thank you for
Woo!
coming on the show.
Yes,
Uh,
Jessie.
he's actually so nice. It's confusing because I don't think it's real. When people are genuinely nice, it confuses me in such a weird way. Of
No,
I
he's
don't know
lovely.
what's your end game here, sir. Uh,
Yeah, Jesse, out yourself. Tell us all.
nice, okay? We're not buying this niceness, okay? This like dark side and then he kills you. No, he's
Oh my
genuinely a
God.
nice person. I have very dark humor. Sorry, Jesse.
Love it. No,
But
I
okay,
love it.
cool. Okay.
Jesse
Well,
might not love
I don't
it.
know if Jesse gets it, so I'm apologizing. You know, because he watches every single live I do. But um, I would love if he implemented some kind of assistant, like of the month, and so everyone was
Oh,
competing. And then I don't know, I just really love the notion of like someone is the best that month because you're already competing in this industry and it's not competitive enough. So you have to get like, I'm picturing employee of the month. What was that movie with Dan Cook? That kind of weird Costco movie that wasn't Costco. But I'm picturing
oh,
kind of let's
I don't
fight to be
remember.
the best. That was a while ago. I dated myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, what? Yeah, that would be fun. We would have to come up with really inventive ways of how to prove our worth. Um, but I think we could do it. We can make that happen.
I'll do, you know what? I'll do it. I'll think of different challenges that you
Amazing.
have to, yeah. But it's going to be none related to casting
No,
at
it's
all.
like jumping through a ring of fire
Yeah.
or,
There definitely has to be
yeah,
fire. I love that.
yeah.
Fire. Oh, I love the ring of fire. I think we should add a height component. It was called Employee of the Month. Thank you, Adam. I didn't know my brother was still watching. Every time he watches, usually there's a tech problem. So that tech problem was actually his fault.
Oh,
But
okay. Oh,
yeah,
Adam.
come on, Ad. Okay. It was called Employee of the Month. It was a good movie.
I'm
I'd
gonna
like the
add it to my list.
jumping, some kind of water component as well. I'm gonna figure this out. I'll message him.
Okay.
He'll be very confused, and like so many other casting directors, it would be like block emails. And that's fair because I send a lot of hello
You know
inquiry.
what? You got to do what you got to do. And as Jessie always says, work smarter, not harder. So,
Ooh. How
yeah,
do you work smarter?
by sending block emails.
I love getting an email where it's not my name, where it's clearly generic email. Or if it's the wrong name, that's also something fun for me. And I go, oh, I like that.
Well, I felt, do you have a lot of time on your hands?
No.
Oh,
I like it in a way of, oh, it made it really easy to not follow up with that. That's what it is. You know, like
fair enough.
I used to be very forgiving, but I'm like, if you're sending me an email and I'm not like it has my name in it, Robyn, and then you spell like hello Robyn and you
Oh,
spell my name with an I, like I don't understand this
lazy.
attention to detail, but I'm not accepting this. So no.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a name is like the one important thing in an email. And I
Well,
think
okay,
if you mess
now,
up and you know you mess up, you should follow up and apologize.
yeah. But I also think now, and I'm trying to get better at this because I'm trying to add the pronouns to everything. And
Mm,
like, that's an important thing. And if someone doesn't have an identifying, like, someone's just, I don't know, doctor or something, I'm like, I don't know what your pronoun is. So then is the default, should it be they? Is that a default? Or I don't
mhm.
know.
I feel like I'm the wrong person to ask
I
this
know. I
because
usually ask the wrong people these questions just to
yeah,
generate weird conversation. Window chats.
but it is a good conversation to have because I think it is something that should be figured out. But at the same time, it could just be like a case by case scenario. Like I have no problem if someone refers to me as they if they don't know my pronouns.
Yeah.
And I know through casting we default to they if we don't know someone's pronouns.
Okay.
But I don't know if someone might be offended by being referred to as they, and maybe it is like you just have to ask each and every person and it be a case by case scenario because as much as we put things into boxes of like, you know, he, him, she, they, whatever, it is an infinite situation. Like there isn't actually a certain amount that you can end at and be like, okay, we figured out every single amount of genders and whatever. Like so it's I don't know. So it's a weird one, but I'm definitely not the person to ask about
No,
that.
no, I was curious. I mean, it's all, and also I've learned that like everyone can constantly change, and that's their right. And I thought that was interesting. I was doing this sketch, and then
Yeah,
I looked up Demi Lovato, and I go, I didn't know she could change her pronouns, and I was intrigued by it. So obviously, I make kids
yeah.
comedy, and it did great. But I really, I don't know. I'm always interested when we have to communicate, especially you have to communicate with actors and that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
or even like as a person, what do I get offended by? I feel like what I get offended by though changes on a daily basis. So for me,
Yeah,
it's exhausting to communicate with myself when I have my inner dialogue. So I feel
yeah.
bad for someone who has to communicate.
But you know what? I think it's a good thing. It's like it's good and important for your opinions and perspectives to always be changing. Like I think if you're so rigid and stuck, you're never going to learn and grow. And I think that's why I think it's important that most people deserve a second chance at redeeming themselves with certain situations. And um, yeah, I'm the same. Like my opinions change. I don't want to say all the time, but definitely if I'm not ashamed to say my opinion has changed on something because that's just me learning and experiencing life. I don't know. We shouldn't have to feel bad about that, right?
I find I notice it the most because my relatives usually call me out on it. I get so persuaded by Netflix food documentaries to a point where I'm like, oh man, I'm paleo, I'm vegan, I'm keto. Like
Oh
they're
yeah,
just so compelling, and I'm like, I'm juicing today. It's terrible for my body, but like it's good TV, you know.
and
So
it's so
I blame.
persuasive. It is. It's so true. So
It's good
true.
stuff. But that's what I find, and that's part of why I love creating, right? Like that's when you get messages across that you're able to explain things to people and they can understand your viewpoint, I love that so much. And I know you were talking, or at least in your bio, that you want to share about mental health. And I love that because it's such an important topic to discuss because no one really knows what other people are going through. And I don't know, growing up personally, I feel like no one really talked about it. And if you're sad, get over it and deal with it.
Yeah.
So I love that you're trying to create things like that.
Yeah, 100%. And I saw this funny TikTok today that was like, it was a therapist saying something like, oh, you know, when you were younger and your parents asked you how you felt, like, how did you explain yourself? And someone stitched it and was like, your parents asked you how you were feeling when you were younger? And I was like, it's so true. Like, I remember people being like, how do you feel? You know, that was like not a thing. But I'm glad it's coming to the surface more of like holding space for people and making people feel safe enough to process their emotions and to communicate them in whatever way works for them. But it is such a slow progress that I think it almost feels a bit regressive when we don't build up enough momentum with it.
Yeah.
And that's with so many things in today's world, to be honest. Like, but yeah, mental health, and I think not especially, but mental health within the industry isn't spoken about enough. Like, it's just like, well, you're an actor, you should expect to be stressed and expect to have thick skin and expect to deal with rejection. And it's like, well, I'm also a human being who has a personal life and deals with stuff, and I should be allowed to be like, hey, I'm struggling. I'm struggling right now, and this industry is not helping. Because, to be honest, like, I don't see any part of this industry trying to make it easier for actors. If anything, it's going the opposite way, and that doesn't make sense to me. It's like, why are you forcing struggle on actors?
Right.
Rather than being like, you know what would make this process easier and take a bit of the weight off is this. Okay, let's implement that. But I just don't see that happening, and it's not good.
It's hard on so many levels because I never understood, first off, like certain demands of, have this self-tape done by tomorrow, but then it's not necessarily casting's fault, right? Because production or whoever's in charge, I don't know who gets in their head that human beings should be doing things that no human being can do. Like the demands that you put on casting, the demands you put on actors, it doesn't make any sense. But the thing, like, okay, you can't do it, we'll go to another casting director. Like, it's horrific. Or we'll find another actor if you can't do it. And it's just, why can't we all just work together? This sounds so junior kindergarten, but I'm like, let's all
No, you're right. It's so
sharing.
true. It's very fragmented in that sense. Like,
Yeah.
no amount of communication can kind of meld that together. But like, one thing I can say from working in casting is like, there's not really ever a time where we're told, oh, we want these auditions, here's the material for it, here are the specs, and then we just sit there going, oh, I'm just going to wait a couple of days to send out this self-tape. In my experience anyway, like self-tapes go out as soon as we can, as soon as we have everything. Sometimes we put out the self-tapes first and then send the material just to get it out as soon as possible. Jesse in particular, because he was a working actor as well, like fully understands, like not to put actors in a situation that's gonna make them struggle. He wants to give people the benefit, like not the benefit of the doubt. He wants to give people the best chance possible at like getting in a tape that they can feel good about and that we can feel good about and we can send off. But yeah, it is. I mean, it falls on production, but then within production, I'm sure there's like a hierarchy of situations happening. Ultimately, it ends up with the people at the top with the money who are like, get this done, I don't want to spend my money. But like, it ends up being unfair on the performers in the end. Yeah.
It really does. But I love that you said that you guys don't sit on it because, from actors that don't know the side of casting, right? So if I'm not mistaken, casting directors have to pitch themselves to be able to cast a project, right?
Yep.
So then if the casting director has to, I guess, essentially book the gig, what's the term for casting? They book it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And then you have to write down the breakdown for the characters. You have to choose, or sometimes production gives you sides. How does that work with choosing sides?
Yeah, it depends. Like sometimes production will be like, we have these specific sides that we want. Or they'll say, oh, can you just pull this scene from the script? And then we'll pull it and create the sides. Um, but yeah, essentially it's like all the info of the breakdown, character descriptions, sides, and then the like their deadline for when they want callbacks and stuff. And then we put it out straight away, basically.
It's
Yeah.
and then you get them in, and then you choose, and then you send it back to production, like you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the magic, and then this.
And
Then the
listen,
actor gets the
one
phone
thing
call. You
I
can
didn't, one thing I never knew, which like I obviously learned with the job, was I I honestly thought that sometimes the end result was the responsibility of casting, and it's just really not, because it's always ultimately going to come down to the producer, writer, or director. You know, like sometimes Jesse might have a sway or they might ask his opinion, but ultimately the last word never falls on casting. And that was something new that I learned. So, I mean, I think it's important for other actors to know that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's the sarcasm in me. I'm like, does that mean people are gonna stop sending Jesse gifts? Like,
Yeah. He was getting gifts. Where were our gifts?
was he? I
Hello.
don't know. I feel like that's a thing. I haven't done the gift sending, but I remember that being a discussion I was having with casting directors. They're like, don't get us gifts, or if you do, get this small gift because, you know, actors, what are they making on certain projects? Some are really small projects. I thought that was so nice to understand that. But like, you also want to be grateful because they gave you the
Yeah,
audition and they gave you the opportunity. So,
for sure. And I get that. But at the same time,
so just
you're
send the
help,
gifts to
you're,
Ken.
it's a mutual thing, you know, like you're helping them out too by being a good performer and giving in a good audition.
True.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't send Jesse gifts. That's not what I'm
Wow,
saying.
Jesse, I don't know what's happening right now, but
But all I'm saying is if you're going to send Jesse a gift, also send me, Leah, Shawnee a gift. Um, no, I think that's like a personal casting director situation. I don't know that there's a right or wrong with that, but I think that's, you know, if you feel it's right, go for it.
I think even with that too, it also doesn't mean you're going to get a role in the future, right? You're not buying a role because that can be an uncomfortable situation. You know, what if you give a bad gift? Oh, getting oh,
Yeah, but
that's
what if, I mean,
maybe get a gift for Jesse's dog.
oh, you might book a role that way.
Yeah, maybe.
um, no,
It's
I just,
actually so weird talking about someone that has no idea we're talking about
yeah,
them. So
no.
this is fun though. Okay.
I'm sure I'm going to get a message being like, Tanu,
I'm getting these weird gifts for my dog now. I don't know what's. Oh,
his,
that's so
address is, no kidding.
that's
Um,
funny. Oh, because as actors, you don't know. You want to get seen, right? You want to, and I get that. I get like, hello, look at me. I'm over here. I'm one of thousands, but I swear I'm special. And everyone is special, right? I think everyone is unique in their own way, and it's taken me a long time to realize that we're not competing with each other. Really, just competing with myself to just not. Let's be a little more positive about my performance today.
for sure. And listen, I've seen so many tapes in the last like year and a half or however long I've been working there. But what I'll say is like, it's so normal to have a bad tape now and then. And on top of that, what I want to say more importantly is you shouldn't question your own ability because of your booking results. I have seen some of the most incredible actors who are not known at all and just haven't met the right opportunity yet. But it's so inspiring to know that and see that on the other side, because there is so much talent in this city and it just doesn't, I feel like it doesn't get utilized because, you know, we're lucky we have so many American productions over here, but realistically, like people who are like coming up really only have the opportunity for like actor roles and principal roles, and it feels a bit like there's a bit of a low ceiling here. It feels like the idea of reaching past that seems so far to achieve.
Right.
But I think it's a Canadian industry thing, because I think in Canada, and I'm not shitting on Canada, that's not what I'm doing. But in Canada, I think they use the same faces for shows, or people who have like clout, or like who have booked a bunch of stuff and who that are safe. They're like a safe bet. But what Canada needs to do is take way more of a risk, like meet actors who are unknown and who maybe don't have as much experience, but like can make a huge impact, and kind of like send a ripple effect for future projects. Because I don't know, I see the same faces all the time, and that's fine. But if you want to be more interesting, you need to try something different. And like I said, like I've seen some incredible actors audition for some pretty decent roles on things that we've casted, and ultimately it almost always goes to someone who is a safe bet. Which I also understand. Like, say if this is your passion project and you're just like, oh, I just want it to work out and I want it to be the best, and I get that, but no risk, no reward. And that is something you see more in the States and more in the UK as well. Like you're constantly seeing new faces, and there's no question about it. You're just like, oh, they did a good tape and they're a great actor, and like, yeah, I'm gonna take a risk on this person. And that's why like the content out there is so, I mean, listen, I'm biased, but it's epic.
It makes a difference though, because you do want to see the different faces, and I do wonder this, because again, the term safe bet, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
how do people that aren't necessarily the safe bet, how do they get the experience to become a safe bet? And it's this vicious cycle, right? It's this person is a safe bet, so they're going to keep booking and they're going to become a safer and safer bet because they have the experience. But what about the people that just can't get their foot in the door? And it's that's the struggle, right? And
It's
that's as much as,
frustrating.
as much as like, look, I'm creating my own content. It's different on set.
Yeah,
It's very different.
I completely agree and understand. And, I'm in the same boat myself, which is why I said it's so inspiring to see so many other incredible actors out there, who maybe don't always get the opportunity. But I don't know what the answer is, or what actors can do other than create their own work at this point, because ultimately these decisions come from the higher ups
Yeah.
slash production. Um, if they're willing to take those risks,
Mm-hmm.
they're willing to do something different to the norm. I will say, like, we casted a bunch of CFC projects recently, like some shorts, and across the board, the directors, the writers, completely like took risks on unknown like people. They even their scripts were so like incredibly written and out of the box, and these incredible ideas. And I personally can't wait to see the finished products, because they were just brilliant. And I think if the generations to come keep pushing those boundaries, hopefully in the future we see more of a change in that regard. But from a performer's perspective, I don't know. Just keep the faith, I
Sorry about
guess.
the silence. Okay.
Yeah, all good. Yeah. I think it's just about having faith and like supporting each other as well, which is not always found here, but I think it comes down to like the feeling of like, oh, there's not enough opportunities for me, and like it's a bit of a self-serving situation, right? It's like, oh, that person got that, but what about me? And it
Yeah.
I don't know,
You know what? There are, I get that, because there are days when I always want to try and support people, but there are days where I'm like, this person's doing so much better than me. It's so frustrating. We look so similar.
I
I
know,
swear we
yeah.
both have the same personality. Why can't it be me? So it's definitely challenging, but
Hmm.
I really love looking at the breakdowns for CFC lately, because there's so many new stories being told. And as much as
Yeah,
I don't see myself in these roles, because it's not my role, I'm like, that's not who I am at all. New stories being shared, right? So it's the positive, um, And the one thing that I always find, so this is, I've been using the word triggering a lot, and I used to make fun of the word triggering, but it's like the best way to describe how I feel with
Yeah.
accurately. It's like, where's your demo reel? And I hate that because
Mm.
I have one. I will not be sharing that one. It is so outdated to a point of like, that's not who I am as an actor anymore. I can't share that. It's embarrassing. So it's very like, would you suggest for people that don't have a demo reel to like, you know, when monologue slam was doing a thing, like, do you want to just see a monologue? Do you want to see a scene? Like, although I'll talk about your monologue scenes after. They were good. Yeah.
Um, in terms of like when you're submitting for projects and if it asks for demo reel,
Demo reel, right? Just your opinion.
100%. Like
Casting is different.
all they want, the reason why they're asking for a demo reel most of the time is because we don't have time to hold callbacks or have watch self tapes or to have the audition process. So we're just skipping a step just for time's sake. So all it is we want to see your acting and your range. So yeah, 100% put on a scene or two monologues that completely are different, just to show what you can do. It's not about having like a super professional demo reel that's like perfect and whatever. Like, especially if you don't have the footage, you don't have the footage. Like, it is what it is.
Perfect demo reel, but I love that you think that one exists.
I mean,
have you seen a perfect? I want to find this perfect demo reel. There are always times where I'm like, you could have cut that shorter.
Yeah, and I've seen some long, like 9-minute demo reels as well, and I'm just like, oh, you know, but hey, like the more success someone has, the more footage they have, and so the more they want to show of it, which is fine, which is great. But in terms of like CFC projects, we just want to see you act for a couple minutes.
Do you
in lieu of an audition, essentially?
That's true. That's true. And that's good to know.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go through every audition I've done for Jessie.
What have you auditioned for?
I was like, that would have been so funny. No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
But how funny, like, because here's the thing, this is what I wonder. When you see people, because I had an issue with this too. I would watch tapes of my friends. I did not tell them that I was helping cast something. And I would watch their tapes, and I know they're better than that. And it was so hard for me to not call them and say, be better. Because it was just, I'm like, no, I know. Or maybe they just didn't know, or so I don't know how you do it, and I don't know how you stay impartial. And because like if I've seen someone do something before, I'm like, I know this was theirs to lose, and I hate that they lost it because it was a bad self tape. I'm like, obviously I don't have any say in like bring them in again, of course.
For sure.
But time, you don't have time to say retape because it's like someone else just knew it and they got it, and I hate it. I'm like, so invested. Like, no. That's not what
it's definitely hard. Like, I've got a lot of friends in the industry, and I've seen a lot of them tape for Jessie. And to be honest, like, I think it's about understanding and giving grace to the fact, like I said, like, you're not going to have 100% great tapes all the time. Sometimes just being like, you know what, this wasn't the greatest day. But I on purpose, almost never comment or give feedback on someone's tape after the fact, because I just think there's no good that can come from that. Even if someone was to ask me, like, what did you think of my tape? I'm just like, oh, like, listen, like, I'm not going to say anything because it doesn't feel right. And I personally, in that situation, I've auditioned for Jessie too, and I'm just like, Jessie, don't tell me what you think. Do with it what you will. Like, I don't want to know. Like, I don't need to know.
There's such an odd, okay, if I'm like audition and then I see the casting director the next day and I go, don't even look at me. Like, I'm embarrassed. Like, we have the morning after kind of vibe of, like, we did something. I'm not comfortable. Can we just move on from there? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've all got that one audition story where you're like, I want the ground to swallow me up. And I had that with a few years ago with oh my God, Lewis and Kay. And it was an audition for The Boys, and I had like 3 lines, and it really wasn't that hard, but I just overthought it to the max. I couldn't get the words right, and they kept saying, like, you're saying this word, and the word is this, and it's important. And they probably gave me like 5 takes, which is like unheard of in an audition. And it was an in-person one. And I remember leaving and I was not called back in for them again, like for a long time. And then I did that scene slammy thing, or not scene slam. It was like a scene for
It was,
something.
yeah, I watched it, yeah.
And so I had like a Zoom meeting with them as like the prize or whatever
Oh, so
for
you did
getting
the
in the
artist
top
to
10.
artist one? That's what that was for?
That's the one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
okay,
one.
okay.
And so I had a meeting with them and I was just like, oh God, like, please don't remember that audition. And they were like, oh, so we went back in our files to see what you've auditioned for. And I was like, oh God. And they were like, so you auditioned for the boys? And I was like, mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't a great audition. I'm like, no, yeah, I'm aware. I think about it all the time. Um, but yeah, we all have those moments. But to be honest, I don't think casting remembers it unless like a situation like that happens.
But
And
the files, the fact that they have the files, that's
I
what's
know
terrible. I'm
I
like,
get
no,
rid of
stop
the
being organized
evidence.
with your files. Burn my
Oh
files.
God. I feel that way about a lot of commercial auditions too. I'm like, why is that on camera? I've just done that and now it's out there. Oh God. Oh God. Someone could ruin me with my commercial auditions, honestly.
No, commercials are a whole like okay, I finally got a call back last weekend for I'm like yes,
Congrats.
like this is weird for me, and it was like a weird conversation because I had to reschedule something. I'm like I feel like it was in a weird world of I got a call back. Is this who's pranking me? F you. But and I felt really bad because they were running an hour behind. And so I'm like waiting for the Zoom call back, literally just standing in front of my screen for an hour. I don't know what's happening. And then it's like it happened, and it was again, they're in a rush, and I'm like, I just hated that I didn't give like I felt rushed, and I like didn't, and I leave, and I go,
Mhm.
I know this role. This is like it was my, like it's my role to lose kind of. I'm like,
Yeah.
I
Did
hate,
they
and so
did they tell
obviously,
you that they were running late?
they told me about half an hour in that they were running late. So, and again, like there's no way they're not getting, I'm not blaming casting. There's no way they're not getting a bunch of emails because there was like a very big casting. So I
Hmm.
felt for them. And I always like, it's just a shitty situation of stuff happens, but it's so
I
awkward
understand
when
that though,
you're being,
especially like waiting
and
in
not,
front of a Zoom screen, like there is no anxiety like it. Especially like you're just waiting to be like invited into the room and like I know I pace and I'm literally like powdering my face because I'm just sweating and like you just yeah and then it's over so quick so you do feel kind of blindsided and I get that like from our perspective like I know we try to text people to be like hey we're going to be about 15 minutes late or like give people a heads up so they're aware but obviously there's only so much you can control on the casting side but that sucks I'm sorry that's
oh,
a
it's,
tough.
it's, you know what, only, it's been a while. So it was like, I think the only thing I really didn't like from that was I had an idea of who the character was. And then when I did the scene, I'm like, I just completely, that wasn't at all what I wanted. And I wish I would have like asked for more direction to make sure I was on the right. Like I just wish that actors would know that they can ask questions. And I tell this to people all
Yeah,
the time. And like, I don't follow my own advice. It's just,
it's hard.
and
Oh
it's
my
like, if I
God.
would have, this is how I vision it. Like, and it's not like, again, it's never going to go 100% how you envision it, but if like, this is me fully committed, this is what I think it is versus, oh my God, is this what they want to see? I don't know. I'm so confused. What's happening? And then just feeling scared to give it your all.
Yeah,
That's why I was upset. I'm like, I just like needed a little clarification, but
I get that. And I also think sometimes it takes like, I know for me, it takes like a couple takes to get into something. Like, I'm never going to nail it on the first take. Like, I always do a dummy take when I'm doing self tapes
sometimes
because
the dummy takes are surprising. You go, oh, I
they
can
are.
believe you.
I almost always start with a dummy take and then I end with a fuck it take where I'm just like, just do whatever. And it is interesting, but like, I think with with Zoom auditions particularly, well, actually with any auditions, the difference I've seen with people who are successful with them and those that aren't is definitely like the confidence factor of like, and I know we hear this all the time, but it's so true from the other side too, is like, if you do a take and then you don't like it, and like, even in your body language, or like you do a take and they say scene and then you're like, it just shows, like, it shows. You just have to own every single thing about yourself till you're off the Zoom. Then you can cry about it, you can do whatever. But I just think at the end of the day, you have invested however many hours and how much energy and years of whatever into your career, that whether it's good or bad, we should be allowed to be proud of whatever we've produced, because the end result is always going to be a combination of experiences of your life, and whether it's good or bad, it's okay. But if you own it, it just gives like a whole different perspective. Even if you own it in a way where you're like, you know what, I don't feel great about that take. I would really love the opportunity to do it again. And sometimes they might say no because they might be pressed for time. But I think showing that kind of confidence in, I'm being self-aware right now, and honestly, I know I can do better, that you have nothing to lose by asking. And listen, I'm preaching to the choir here. This is casting hat Tanu on, but I know when it's me, I'm like, thank you. Hi, like, you know, because it's
like
a whole different,
right? Oh my gosh, I wasted time. What am I doing here? I don't even deserve to be here. And we don't feel like we're there for a reason, right?
yeah,
like, we're trying to make their job easier and get a cast because we can do it, and they
100%.
believe that we can do it, and then we just don't believe in ourselves, and we just like
isn't that crazy? Like, we literally sacrifice so much to be able to do this, and then don't believe in ourselves when it matters the most. And I think, I mean, I know for me, like, fear of success is a very big thing. Like, I have equal parts fear of failure and fear of success, which just puts me in this weird, like, bubble, where sometimes I thrive and sometimes I just beat myself down. But I don't know. It's interesting watching it from the other side. Like, at the end of the day, you can only control so much. And as a performer, you control even less. And all you can do is be responsible for your own work. And that is it. That is the end of, you can't send cookies after the fact and hope you get the job. You can't, you know, beg for the job. You can't call your agent and be like, get me another audition because I messed up. All you can do is own your work, whether it's good or bad, and take responsibility for it, and find a way to feel proud of something, even if it's 2%. Find a way to feel proud of something, because to stand in front of a Zoom camera or even in person in front of intimidating people behind a desk and put yourself out there and be vulnerable and share yourself as an artist is fucking hard. And we do not give ourselves enough credit for it. And this whole industry is pretty thankless when it comes to that. So I think we just have to do it for ourselves, and it's really important. It's for your own mental state. It's just so important.
It isn't, and I feel, I don't know if even if you have your friends or family or people telling you, like, it doesn't matter the number of people that can tell me things. If I don't believe it,
exactly.
It goes in my work. Ooh,
yeah.
And I look at the auditions, I go, oh, I remember that month.
Yeah,
I remember that month. It was dark.
100%.
Yeah.
I think also not putting, I mean, I know it's really difficult, but like, especially if it feels like a big audition, or if it's a callback, or if it's, you know, chemistry read even, or whatever, but like, finding a way to not put it on a pedestal and not putting weight on it also makes such a big difference, because at the end of the day, like, just because you have a chemistry read doesn't mean it's yours. And so, not like that, I don't mean that in a negative way, but I mean it in a way that's like, okay, well, it's not mine, so I'm just gonna be proud of what I do, and that's what I can do, and leave it there, kind of thing. And it's, yeah, I don't know, it's so difficult to put into play. I'm
saying, because it's not that I was going to say the less I care about a role, the more likely I am to do a good audition. I always care, but the
Yeah.
less I put on it, this is what
Caring
it is.
less about the result.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what I think the role is. This is how I'm gonna play it. Even if the audition's a little different than what I've like, this is the gist of who it should be. And if that's what they want, great. And if not, there's another role.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally. And casting directors will bring you back in if they like when they like you. So
Confidence thing I think is the most important because I know what I see, like, and I get, oh god, I watch my own just as an example of myself, and I go, oh god, because you're just like, I swear I can do everything, look at me now, I'm juggling and singing,
yeah.
and here's
Yeah.
the little number, and like, that's okay, but literally your role was, here's your coffee, so
Yeah.
like, don't, no one needs to juggle that. It's not a
So this is
musical.
that's the thing. Like as much as like not like okay. So how I said when you walk into an audition room, don't do your scene and then show that you're not happy with it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's hard.
Equally, being too keen also comes across a bit like, you know,
Yeah,
because it comes across desperate. And although like we feel desperate, it subconsciously almost becomes an ick.
yeah.
Kind of.
There was, I'm thinking of the specific example. I'm not going to name any names, but I was a reader for someone. And what happened, and it was in person, so it was very confusing.
Yeah.
Oh, people, I can see you. But the audition finished, and the audition bit, thank you. And then the actor felt compelled to share stories about their experience and all these funny things that happened to them on the way to the audition. And I get that. I get like you want to share and show your personality, but you know, they're paying for the space. It's tight. Like we got to get people in and out. So
Yeah.
I felt for that actor because I thought no one cares. And but I didn't know, like, it was just, we're listening because we're polite Canadians. If that was the state, they would
100%.
out. But it's so hard because you want people to get to know you because you're like, oh my gosh, audition, you haven't seen me, remember me. If it's a good audition, you will be remembered. So
Yes, and I think also like there are times where, you know, especially if it's like a director session or a callback, there are times where even the director is interested in what you have to say outside of the audition because they want to get to know people. But if it doesn't feel genuine and natural in the moment, don't force it.
yeah,
Like you can test the waters and see if there's room for conversation, but if it doesn't feel right, thank them. Thank you for watching. I'm out. Like the less you seem like leechy, the better. The
but if
better
there's,
because
yeah, and if there's no conversation, that doesn't mean it was a bad audition. That means they're
no,
prepping the next one or they're writing notes about your
100%.
audition. There are things, and it's so hard to understand that because
Oh my God.
we make eye contact as humans, right? They're not looking at me. Oh God, it was that bad. Oh, was it terrible? It was terrible. I know I should have hit this beat better. Oh,
Oh,
at this word and not this word. Did I hold the product high enough? Like just different random.
oh
Just,
my God.
go down
Yeah,
that.
everything you're saying is just so relatable. I'm literally like, oh my God, like I've been there. I used to like when in-person auditions was a thing, I would walk out and I would go to the bathroom and in the mirror would try to replicate how I did the audition so I could watch myself. Like I'm crazy. I'm a crazy overthinker. But like that's how bad like it gets sometimes for actors. But the truth is like no one noticed they didn't place the product high enough, and if they did, they would tell you to do it again. And yeah,
It's not getting feedback. If you don't get feedback, that doesn't mean it was.
yeah,
And that was such a hard
no,
lesson to learn. If they see something in you and they want you to do it, they will tell you. And I go, oh, okay, cool, noted. But
exactly.
it's so hard because I've seen great auditions and they've gotten no feedback. And that doesn't
Yep.
mean it was bad. That means it was great. They have nothing to add. Bravo.
Yeah. No, exactly. And like, my God, I once did this audition where it was for this movie, and like it was my first audition, but in the room was director, writer, producer. There was like 8 people behind the table, and I wasn't expecting it because it was a first audition. I didn't know,
That's a
so I
lot.
walked in and I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so I did my scene once, and everyone laughed, and I was like, oh, thank God. And then I was looking at them waiting for like feedback or redirects or something, because like I feel like if the director's in the room, you should get more than one take. That should be a rule, by the way. Um, the one take is not enough if for a
You
callback
say
or whatever.
that if it's good and that's what they need, like they don't if they don't need to see anything else, right? Or what if they just decide, you know what? We decided, like for me, it would be like, no, we don't want a white girl anymore. Or we want a girl with blonde hair because, they can't think of I would dye my hair. That's fine.
And
Um,
they decided that
and
right
then like
before
I
you
walk
came
in,
in.
automatically they're like, no. For whatever reason, that's their choice.
I think that's ridiculous because they shouldn't be hiring you purely on your looks. They should be hiring you on your talent. And if they haven't seen your talent yet, they shouldn't be kicking you out the room. That's a no from me.
No one's oh my God. So sorry.
Oh,
Did that
that
work?
that's okay. Yeah.
No, I'm on Do Not Disturb, but I let my family calls go through. So sorry
Oh,
about that. That was my dad. And now
oh, hi,
everyone
Robyn
knows I hung
Deverett.
up on him for this live. That was fun. Okay. Well, he should watch my lives and then he would know. Okay. But no, I think what I was trying to get with that point, that being said, I have had horrendous editions. But with that, it's,
I don't
let's say you
doubt
do
it.
the one take and it's just like they can't redirect you, or it's just not, they decided that the vision is completely different, or they just scrapped the role for whatever reason. So they're like, okay, cool, we like your vibe, we'll use you for another role, but there's no point of redirecting a role that no longer exists. I'm just trying to think of all these different scenarios that I've learned could happen.
No, for sure. But I mean, and bear in mind, these are all my opinions. These are not reflective of who I've worked for or anything. Like,
Oh
this is
yeah, of course.
my opinion as an actor as
These are
well.
all
Like,
Jesse's opinions, of
yeah,
course.
oh God. Um, I think if that's the case, then they should be telling you that. Hey,
Oh,
like this role is no longer a thing, but we will keep you in mind for future roles.
interesting.
Why not? Why not?
Like
Like,
no one knows how to communicate though. Communication is it is so painful to watch people not communicate well. Because
yeah,
like especially when I'm like kind of a fly in the wall, just there to help but not really. And then I just see what's clearly going on. This actor feels like shit. Production is swans, and I'm like, this is so uncomfortable to watch because I know I can't say anything, but I know everyone is just not knowing how to talk to each
it's
other.
so true. And like, I don't even know if there's a remedy to that other than, yeah, sure, communication. But again, like from casting perspective, like to try and give feedback to every actor is not possible.
It's not.
Um, what do you say half the time? It's like they did great, but they were just not right for the role. Like which is most of the time. Um, but there was something else I was going to say as well. I can't remember right now, but it will come to me.
See, okay. I'm always curious about this because I just feel compelled to share the truth with people a lot. If someone was consistently auditioning and it was just always terrible, would
Mm.
that be, hey, this person needs an acting class? Because like, isn't that person just wasting their time at that point? You keep giving them chances, the acting's not getting better. I'm always curious about that.
I don't think it's. I don't
When I
think
say that,
cast
like maybe
like.
it's just bad, like doesn't know how to audition bad. Like this is
Yeah,
why
yeah.
you aren't booking it. This is for whatever. I don't know. I was watching
I'm.
one and like someone shot a gun and it was terrifying and they had the guns. I'm like, just please don't do that ever. I never
Yeah.
understood that until I'm like,
Okay.
oh my God, I just got
Yeah,
shot at. It was
for
so
sure.
scary.
In that case, I would say maybe casting would make mention like, "Hey, by the way, they used a gun. Like that shouldn't be a thing."
Oh my God,
Um,
multiple
but
times. I
in
live to
terms of
tell the
like,
tale.
sorry,
I live to tell the tale.
you thank God,
Yeah. Ooh.
thank God. Wait till we get like what 7D screens and it like actually comes through. Jesus Christ,
Oh my God.
is that
That
a
would be
thing?
so weird to cast. You have to see how they look and like, oh, that's so weird. No, I don't want to imagine that, but I did. Okay.
Auditions are going to be real interesting in a few
But,
years. Um, uh,
oh, I
what
gotta.
was I going
Oh,
to?
okay. Oh my gosh, we're past the hour, but I wanted to
Oh,
bring up your. I watched your scene slams. You did one with Deverett,
oh,
you did one with Tara. I enjoyed them.
Yes. Oh, thanks. Thank you.
That was,
Yeah.
you know what? Because you're one of the people that it's like, yeah, the pandemic's happening, but let's try and create, right? Let's do a scene, and yeah, and you like justified leaving the scene on Zoom. I'm like, that was a good
Yeah.
justification. Let's figure out this ending. It's Zoom.
Yeah.
Bye. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not going to take credit for being proactive with that because in both of those cases, it was Dorette that reached out and Tara that reached out, and I was like, oh, thank God, someone wants to work with me during a lockdown. Um, so thank you to both of them, both incredible actors and longtime friends. We all went to college together. Um, Tara was in the year below me and Durrett, but yeah, like they're both incredible and were so fun to work with and very giving and generous actors, both of them.
I love that you didn't think anyone wanted to work with you. Why would you think that?
Because lockdown put things in my head
Oh God, that's
that
dark.
weren't real. I mean, it's true. I honestly, like, mental health wise was horrible during lockdown. And even after we kind of came out of it, at least by then I was working with Jesse. So like I had like a bit of a distraction, but I really like hit a pretty dark place at the end of last year and had to take like a 5 month break from acting because I was so overwhelmed. I couldn't audition. Like even my agent was like, what is going on with your auditions? And I was like, I'm not myself. I'm not in my body. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, it just, and also taking a break is not bad. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
panicked. I panicked being like, oh my God, does this mean I don't want to do this anymore? Like, what am I going to do with my life? And taking the break was like the best thing that I did. I came back, I took a class and I felt like a new actor. So recommend.
The burnout was so real during COVID because I almost felt like I don't have an excuse to not create because I have a phone and I have time.
Right.
So why am
Right.
I not doing something, right? And then it's like every couple months I'm burnt out. I wonder why. It's hard, but I'm
Oh
like,
my
but other
God.
people are pushing through and they're doing it, so I have to do it. And it's so easy on social media to compare yourself to look at this person did actually Adam, you're here too. He's a future guest. He did like this really cool killer I don't know the term, it's called Ice Cream, it's a podcast, he just put together a podcast because he's cool,
Cool.
but like people
Yeah.
are doing really cool projects, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how are people doing this, how are they like figuring it out? I'm like, oh, all I'm doing are my window chats. That's so sad. But
No,
then
your window chats are awesome.
but I also think like, wait, people want to be on my window chats? Like I was gonna stop this after like episode 10,
Oh,
and then
and look at you now. I don't know what number this is, but
I think it's 106, mostly because I think season 6, maybe 107. Hang on.
ooh,
Is that embarrassing math? Maybe.
no,
I'm going to go with 106. I'm going to lock that in. Okay, cool. It's locked.
no.
Oh, that's fine. You're 6'6". There's no third six, so it's not the devil or something. Isn't
Thank God for that, because Lord knows I'm not trying to add that to my life right
no,
now.
that's unnecessary.
Necessary.
But it's the lockdown and like it was just definitely so much time for self-reflection that I thought, because I've never had to sit with things, and that's part of why I love my comedy. I'm like, haha, I'm loud and funny, versus oh God, I have to feel like, you know, when it says in a script,
It was a lot.
no, I'm not doing it. I don't want to feel, but it was
And even more than ever before, I think. Like, and I've spoken to a lot of people about this, where people were questioning so much, like, oh, well, I haven't booked, and now there's no work, and like, now the industry slowed down, and it was like even more pressure on their heads. And yeah, man, it was a weird time, and we were struggling with, is this the end of the world? Like, what's going on? Like, should I buy toilet paper for the next 3 years? Most people said yes. It was just such a weird time, and like, I think if it didn't impact you and didn't change you as a human, that, I mean, I think it would be shocking if people haven't changed after the pandemic. I think we should have gone through some kind of transformation.
for better or
way.
worse, actually. There are some people that go, what happened to you? I don't say that to them. I probably
Yeah.
do say that to them. I definitely do. I definitely. I go, okay, well, we were friends. Bye.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It brings out people's true colors. Like, it just, it is what it is, and it's a part of life, and that's okay. That's
True.
okay.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. Therapy helps.
Free therapy from Bumble and
From me.
BFF. Oh, but no,
Also
and it's
expensive
also
though.
like just the fact that even having these conversations, like yeah, there are times when people aren't okay, and you know what I find so interesting too. Like I used to get really offended if people ghosted me. Like this was I'm like, why aren't you responding? I know you're on your phone. I hate you. But I'm like, you know what? Because then I would ghost people too, and I go, I just don't want to look at my phone today.
Yeah,
I
100%.
just it's staying off. I can't use it because then I get sucked into this vortex of sad. So
Yeah.
I think
Well, I
it's
think I
made.
even said that to you the other day. I was like, I'm so sorry I haven't responded, but I didn't want to look at my phone during my holiday.
I
And I
love
was
that
like
for you.
ignoring my messages, ignoring my DMs. And I was like, but then you look at it and it's like overwhelming and you're like, no, 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 I'm still not ready. Yeah, you're right. I used to get really offended by that too. And now I'm like, good for you for
Yeah,
ignoring me.
it's true. I'm like okay. Or if it's like a consistent ignore though, then I'm like we have to talk.
Yeah.
No, I don't actually say. I'm like we have to chat. I keep it nicer, right? Can we have a chat? Because we're not in like a relationship where we have to have the talk. But here's the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as it's not on Instagram Live, I'm sure it's fine.
So I'm glad that you're here. You ignored my message when you were in Vegas.
Can you imagine? Just calling people out on Instagram Lives. Oh my God.
I I mean,
That's a
I
new
would really.
show.
I don't think I could get the people that I want to call out on Instagram. I don't think I could get them because I also don't think I'd want to talk to them.
Oh, so you
Like,
get someone else to do it for you.
oh, that's fun. We just make a list. We love our lists, and we just kind of go through. This person on this day and this day ignored me.
Yeah, like maybe someone
Cancel.
has an earphone and you're just feeding them what to say. That's
Oh,
so good.
I would
Wow.
watch that.
That's a new show.
That's yeah. That's reality in the making. And then you like film that person's reactions. Ooh, this is good.
Yeah.
This is
But
like
but instead of window chats with the nice view, you close all the blinds and it's dark.
it's closet chats. And then it's oh, that's so fun. Look at this. It's a spin-off. Okay.
There you go.
I I want to promote your Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? I think that's my husband's birthday, and that's why I can't go. I'm very upset.
Yeah.
Wednesday, it's 48-hour film festival at
Yes.
cinema.
Um, yeah, I worked with an incredible team of, I think there was like 15 or 16 of us. They were so professional and so organized, and they were incredible. We made a cute little short called Chipper, and it is streaming on November 9th at the Review Cinema. You can get tickets online, and we need people's votes to make the top 3 of our screening day.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're very excited. And like, listen, it's 48 hours, so nothing's ever perfect, but we are really proud of what we did. Yeah.
Can I do a virtual vote? Is it only in
I
person?
wish. I
Okay.
wish. I think it's only in person.
Oh, I'm
But
gonna have to like
maybe
push.
I'll try and steal like an extra ballot and be like, well, Robyn said she
This is what
wanted to vote.
happens. This is what like okay. This is the crossroads of like I have to remember that my husband should take priority. I know you're watching this, Mike. Sorry, but it's like a serious debate of like I want to support people, but also like like I feel weird about my birthdays where I'm like, let's just make it a day and move on. Like let's not acknowledge it. I aged. Okay, the grays will come in eventually. Very
Yeah.
exciting as a woman. Cool. My playing age keeps getting raised. I'm now a mom all the time. No longer the young whatever. But I think other people, I don't know. I was going on a rant of why I don't want to celebrate my husband's birthday with him on
Yeah,
his day. I don't want to see your thing, but I want to
that's
see what.
okay.
How can
And
I see it if I can't come? How can I see it, or will I ever be able to see it?
yeah, I'll check with the director if he's going to release it publicly.
Okay.
If he does, then I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Um, but I
We
hope your
could have this
husband's
conversation
birthday.
live, but I like that it was live. I do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hope your husband's birthday is worth it.
Oh my god! Right? If it's not worth it, I'd be like, do you know what I missed? Do you know what I miss supporting? Okay, Tanu needed my vote. So,
Yeah, and he could have voted too if he showed up.
oh
Why don't
yeah,
you celebrate his birthday at my 48-hour film screening?
that's the well. Will there be cake? Will there be what's the party vibe? Wait, is it what's
There,
the is it like
there will be drinks.
okay, okay.
I don't know about the cake. I'm kidding, by the way. Don't celebrate his birthday like that.
I wanted you to sell me on it.
That
Because
is
I don't know how to sell him on it. I don't know. There's this festival that people made things in 2 days. And he's like, Robyn,
oh
I've
my
seen
God.
things you make in 2 days.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it. And I go, that's fair. I don't either.
He's like, I just want to celebrate my birthday.
Yeah. This is a real relationship. This is the reality show right here. I would love to, like, anyone that's dating an actor that's their reader I would love to get them and do like a fake mockumentary of the life of like someone dating an actor or with an actor.
Oh, that's cool. I
Just
love mockumentaries. I just
I
think
love
it's
them.
such a, like an amazing form of TV. I just quickly like I kind of recently did jury service, which was
Whoa.
an incredible, but like it was like the best and worst experience of my life.
Okay.
And I guess I can't say much about it, but
Oh my
but
God. Guilty, not guilty? Okay. No.
I'm oh we were a hung jury. So after
Oh.
3 nights and 4 days of deliberations and not seeing our families and not talking on the phone to anyone, we were a hung jury, which was very frustrating to those people out there who know what you did. Fuck you guys. Yeah, it was not comfortable by the end. It brought out a lot. Like
So
they
you know
brought
those
out,
movies where they have the whole, is that true? Does it match the movie form of people fighting? No. Oh,
oh, it
really?
gets intense because you're in a room without windows from 9 till 6,
Okay.
and as soon as and people are like hungry, like obviously you eat, but like people are frustrated, they're hungry, they're like, once someone leaves the room to go to the washroom, you can't say a word until they come back.
Oh my God, what if someone has like IBS? Oh my
Yeah,
God. Sorry. That's so funny for me. Like, this is another sketch in my head. Oh my God.
or like, or like just runs to the bathroom for a quick sniff of cocaine or something.
Come
Um,
back. Ready? Okay.
no one did cocaine. I'm not saying that, but
These are
like,
ideas.
and so straight after, like, you get escorted to the back of the building, put on a bus, taken to a secret location of a hotel that you don't know until you show up. And then someone sits outside your room while you sleep so that you don't talk to a member of the public. It was so intense and
That's
so weird.
what do
Yeah.
you wear? Like, do you look good for this? What's the
Actually, I will say there was a big change from my first day of attending the trial to my final day. I was like, hair up in a bun. I was wearing a hoodie. I was like, fuck this shit. It was.
That's like how I feel with every class I take. The first day,
Yeah.
No, less hoodie. It's my husband's clothes. I don't care.
People have seen the real me now, so fuck it.
No makeup. This is me.
But I met some characters. That's what I will say, and I can't believe some of these humans exist. So I'm definitely going to write a mockumentary about
Please
jury
do.
duty.
I want to play the craziest person I've cast myself. It's happening. Okay.
Okay, perfect. You're in. You're in.
Oh my God. I love this idea. Oh wait, I want to share one thing with you and then I'll let you go. I was
Okay,
looking
cool.
at IMDb and apparently, and I love this. Do you know that IMDb has a feature of shared connections? So we both worked on His Quiet Mind.
Oh.
Okay, this was like,
Oh.
I don't remember what phase of my life of acting this was, but I don't even remember how I found it. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try being an extra in a club, whatever. And he was the nicest director I have ever worked with in my life. I've never seen that amount of passion, that amount of like giving everyone on set was valued. And
Yeah.
if I could work with any director again, it would be that person.
Oh,
And I love that I can't
Augustino.
remember his name right now.
Yeah.
Okay. But just the nicest vibe of like, and just open to ideas. Cause I remember that shoot very well because someone had just told me what Instagram was. the day before. So that
Okay.
I was
Oh
just
my
on my
God.
phone as a character. So I literally uploaded like 12 photos to
Oh my
Instagram, not knowing that everyone will see them because it's different from Facebook. So I'm
Yeah.
getting messages like, what is happening? I'm like, I'm at a
Oh.
club doing Instagram. Like I'm very so that is
Oh my God, that's amazing.
like
How
the
weird.
funniest.
Small
I know.
world.
So I'm like, I love that you did that because I love that shoot so much.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, Argo was an amazing director. He really he knew what he wanted. His heart was so in it. And it was a very vulnerable piece for him overall. Like I think back then my role was like a line or something, but even reading the whole script, I was like, this is beautiful, and I'm so glad that he got it made. I think it should have been made into a feature eventually,
Mm,
but it is what it is. And
great
yeah, he was
acting.
really good acting. Yeah, great team.
Yeah, including you, obviously, the one line. Okay.
My
I
one.
never saw the whole thing, and I'm like, I don't even know where I could see it, but I'm like, you were in it?
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
like one of my favorite
very,
random downtown
very.
experiences. Like 120 Diner doesn't exist anymore, and that was
Yeah.
just like 8 a.m. and I'm dressed to go to a club. I loved it.
Oh
It
my
was
God,
so
it was so early on. I think it was one of the first things I ever auditioned for, and it was like an audition I found by myself because
oh yeah, it was
my
definitely like a Mandy or like even a Facebook
well,
ad.
it
I
was
don't even know what
something like that because I had a really shit agent back then, and I think I auditioned like 10 times a year, if that. And all of the roles I would audition for were awful. So I would try and find my own stuff.
yeah.
And luckily, when that one came through, I was like, "Ha, fuck you! I got this myself." Um, we don't
And
speak about him. He's he who will not be named.
that's fine. I figured out who it was because I did a deep dive on you, so I know you're done.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have no shame. I'll listen. I don't care if people look it
You know
up.
what? But actually, I do appreciate you raising. Like, I think it is very challenging to be an agent. I'm not like I don't think it's an easy job, and I do think that certain people work better together than others. So I think like once you find that agent that gets you and understands how to sell you, my God, everyone's
Yeah.
dying downtown. But it's so it's ambulance, whatever. But I think once you find that, it's so special. But
It
like,
makes a huge difference, and I
yeah,
think it's really underestimated. And it doesn't mean if things aren't going your way, then your agent's awful.
yeah,
But I think you in my experience anyway, first and foremost, you have to be able to have vulnerable conversations and it not feel and it feels safe to do so. And second of all, communication is key. And I think with that, but with that agent in particular, the not great one, um, he tried to puppeteer everything, and I didn't really have any say, and the way he saw me was completely wrong. And also my experience with him was awful. Um, and most people's experience with him has been awful. Um, and I have no problem saying that because that's my experience and no one can question it.
yeah.
But he ruined my self-esteem and put me in a really bad place mentally. But when I signed with my current agent, what up, Alex? Um, she complete it's just so different that we can have conversations about real stuff, or I can say, hey, can you not put me out for this anymore? Or it's
Yeah,
just it makes such a huge difference.
yeah,
So you're completely right. And I think if you're feeling like you're completely out of control of your own career, or that you're not allowed a say in your own career, then
yeah.
yeah, maybe then it's time to question your rep.
If you're, and I didn't know, if you're not comfortable doing something, you have the right to say no. And if your
Yep.
agent pressures you into doing it, like that is not okay. And especially
Oh,
if, like what you were saying too, if you have confidential conversations with your agent and you find out that is shared, I was not a
no.
fan of that. Because I don't share a lot of my personal life because it's no one's business. That's just how I
Yeah.
feel. Other people are different and that's totally fine. But when I find out that things are shared, like that makes me very upset because that is like I was trusting you with something I didn't, and that hurts me because I don't open up to people. And like also technically, and I never had the power to say this, but technically the agent works for you. You know,
Yeah.
like I know it's a collaboration, but the more people I talk to, like technically they work for you and they get a cut. And again, it's like a minimal cut for the amount of work they do. I get it, but
Yeah.
it's you're doing a lot. You know, you're doing your training, you're doing the auditions, you're working really hard, right? So you have to feel like you're empowered versus like just similar to the callback or the audition room, right? Where you're just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
so grateful to be here. Thank you so much for like seeing me and like not confident. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't deserve to be. No, you deserve to be there. You deserve to be an actor. You deserve to be with someone that respects you and communicates and like values you. And it is a communication that is like not, again, not to a point where it's, you know, doctor patient, but there's a respect there that what is said is not shared because
1,000,000%. And like it, from what you said, like most importantly, you deserve to be heard and listened to
yeah.
and respected. And if your agent doesn't do that, and mine back then did not at all with some really serious situations, um, they are not for you.
Yeah.
And you have every right to be confident in saying like you're not the right person for me
Yeah.
and I need to go look elsewhere. I don't think anyone should ever feel guilty about looking for new representation if in your gut you know that it's the right thing to do, because all you're doing is delaying your career. And I stuck with that agent for like almost 4 years because they made me believe that no one else would want me.
Oh,
And so I was so scared to leave. And only now looking back do I realize like I was like manipulated into believing that, and it wasn't true.
but the manipulations, I mean, you see stuff going on now, at least I don't, but the situation with actors not getting paid is a huge problem. Like I'm
Yeah.
still in the union, right? And this is a frustrating thing because people don't know that they should be paid and no one should have to beg for their money. It's insane. And no one should be given the runaround. And this happens and I'm finally people have shed light on this situation. But for
Thank
people
God.
to not
Yeah.
know, for actors to not know that it's not okay to not get paid for a year when everyone else on the project was paid out, or even people that like were on the same project at the same roster were paid before you a different month. That's weird and that's not okay. Like,
It's so if something feels wrong in your gut, it is wrong. Like I have so many friends that were with that agency, and listen, like they're all incredibly kind people. And so maybe at first, maybe you give your agent the benefit of the doubt, but
yeah.
if it
Well,
prolongs past
right.
a certain point, you got to speak up. And I'm so proud of every actor that has spoken up now against that situation,
Yeah.
because I can't imagine how hard it is. And like even now, like trying to find new representation after having, I just can't imagine what they're going through. But like, man, my whole respect goes out to them, and good for them for speaking up. And that is something we need to do more of. Like, we shouldn't be afraid. I think there's that
There is
mentality
a fear. There's
of
a
being
huge
like
fear because you're like, oh no, my
blacklisted or
got me. If I keep asking for my money, and then no one else will take me because I'll be a problem because I'm asking for my money. It's
I
really
don't.
messed up.
It's so crazy that I mean that is a fear, and I think we're made to believe that.
Yeah.
But I think the more it becomes normal to speak up and speak up bluntly and transparently, it's only going to help people in the future and help other actors speak up as well. Because I've had so many stories with people and their agents, and I'm just like, say, like, you've got to say something. Even for myself, there's been times where I haven't spoken up, and only now looking back, I'm like, oh, come on, like you should have, come on, like
Yeah.
that, like that's advocating for yourself. And again, in this industry, like we said, like no one's going to tell you like you're going to make it, you're good, this, that. Like it's all got to come from you, and you got to find whatever way works for you to bring that out of yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
It's hard if you spend all of this energy advocating for yourself with your agent, then you get the audition. You're like, I've used all my advocating energy.
I know,
I
I
can't do
know.
it. Yeah.
Like I said, people underestimate what actors go through, and it's a lot.
It is
Yeah,
a lot. It is a lot. But again, like having these conversations, I appreciate it because I think the more actors know they're not alone, the more we'll be able to stand up for ourselves and support each other, right? And
agreed.
just I don't know how you change an environment that need so much changing. I don't. I guess you keep trying.
Definitely keep trying, keeping the faith, and knowing, again, like you said, like knowing that you're not alone in it. You know,
Yeah.
knowing that it's a very common thing that most actors go through, and that it's okay that you feel that way. You're allowed to.
Yeah, permission. That's the permission to feel shitty is, yeah, that's good permission to have. It's okay.
Yeah.
Every day is going to be sunshine and rainbows, despite what you see online. You go, how's this
Yeah.
person always happy? I was gonna bring it back to Jesse, but now it's too
No.
much. The rule of threes, fives. I don't know where we're at with that.
Yeah.
But no, there is something to be said with just like giving yourself like permission to, even permission to fail, right? I see that a lot too.
100%.
You
Yeah.
know what? Like even like I will never forget. I ran into someone. I auditioned. I had this call, but I remember them because I'm very mentally healthy. But I ran into someone and he brought up. I'm like, oh, that's where I know you from. This callback. I'm like, that one haunts me. Like, that one. But like, at least you know what, you got that far. And
Yeah.
like if you were given that chance again, you would do it differently because now you know. So even if it was an epic fail, if you're going to fail epically, but you learn from it, which is so hard to say for the moment.
Definitely.
And in the
And
year,
you always learn from it, and like I said, like the dummy take is for a reason, because you could even do the best take that you feel you've done and
yeah,
still not book it.
yeah,
It doesn't always change the result. So I think owning it, be like, listen, I failed, I hold my hands up, it was not a good day, we move on.
yeah. You tried, like you tried your best,
Huh.
and that's what your best was that day, right? And I mean, look, if you're just kind of half-assing it, don't do that, because it is an opportunity, and not everyone gets to audition for something, right?
Yeah.
But if you tried and that's what it was, and it is what, like, you just gotta move on. I give such good advice. Why don't I listen? No.
I know.
Why
You
don't
and
I
me
listen
both.
to myself?
Literally,
Um,
you and me both. I mean, it's so easy to get our heads wrapped into and around this industry, and you know, question all these things. And I think we forget, like in the bigger scheme of things, like life is just about loving and being loved and enjoying ourselves, and
life outside of acting, is that
yeah,
this? Okay.
yeah, and
Hard
also
to remember that.
bringing more joy into acting, because it
Yeah.
becomes so like, oh, you know, at times, and sometimes we just forget to, oh, I actually like doing this. It shouldn't need to feel so must book all
Yeah.
the time, you know? Like,
Yeah.
we're allowed to enjoy it. We're allowed to fuck up because it's fun.
And
It's fun
honestly,
to
like
fuck up.
if you take when you take the pressure off of, okay, it is what it is, and here you go, and that's when the magic happens, right? That's when you
Yeah.
go, oh, because as humans, you know, because when you're doing an audition, you're supposed to be a human. Hard to remember for me, but you know, when you make those natural mistakes, you go, oh, a human moment. That was special. I think I like spit while I did the huh. That was really fun. A Jewish thing for me.
That's
But
commitment.
that was commitment, human moment. I would use
There
that
you
tape.
go.
So yeah, I think I guess final thoughts from this chat is like just be yourself, have fun with acting. It's so hard to remember that this is supposed to be
Have
fun, and
fun.
you're playing
Enjoy
for a
it.
living because of all the politics and all the behind the scenes stuff. That's so much noise, but have fun and
Yeah,
like
and
connect with your fellow actors.
do your best not to assume what the noise is behind
Oh,
the
I love that.
scenes.
Don't assume. I love
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
because it's so out of your control. I can't even explain how out of control it is, how out of your control it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just assume the best always.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's
You
true.
know? Yeah. Be
That's
yourself and give space to feel the way you feel, because it's okay.
yeah. That was great. Tanu, thank
Yeah.
you so much for chatting with me. I could keep talking to you. They don't cut me off at an hour anymore. That's the problem. And then
Oh,
it
I
turns
see.
into an hour and a half plus. Before Instagram was doing great, they're like, Robyn, no, people have lives.
It
Like,
was
but
like
I love talking to people.
monitored.
But yes, thank you for chatting with me. Thank you
Thank
everyone
you
for
for having
watching.
me.
Thank you to future viewers. And
Yes, thank you.
okay.
Thanks to people who logged on my behalf. Appreciate you all.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good one.
You too.